what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Everybody knows that if you want the best Carolina barbecue, you need a low, slow cook and heat source, the best quality meat, and a seasoned pitmaster. More than the person who's overseeing the cooking, that pitmaster holds all the secrets to making the kind of barbecue that melts in your mouth and keeps friends and family coming back for more year after year after year. From managing the fire and seasoning the meat to seeing it through to a perfect finish and serving that showstopper for your mouth, the person at the pit is the ringmaster of the Carolina BBQ main event. That's why the Carolina BBQ Festival partnered with the Low and Slow Barbecue Show for this special Pitmaster series of podcasts. I'm Chigger Willard, and I want you to hear their stories, the stories of these pitmasters. So on this episode, we're talking with Carolina BBQ Festival founder Lewis Donald. He's also the pitmaster at Sweet Lou's Barbecue in Charlotte's Belmont neighborhood. We're going to talk with Garren Kirkman, the pitmaster at John G's Barbecue in Peachland, North Carolina. But you don't have to look very hard to find his food truck elsewhere. You find John G's Barbecue all around the Charlotte region. And finally, stay tuned to the end of our conversation. You're going to hear from Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue in Garland. You'll want to hear how he went from backyard barbecue to successful restaurant runner and cookbook author. He's been featured in Southern Living and Our State Magazine. Before we get to our interviews with the 2023 Carolina BBQ Festival, I want to invite you to get the complete lowdown from the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. You can do that by visiting us online, lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you'll find the Low and Slow blog. It's filled with recipes, barbecue stories, ideas, and more advice for low and slow barbecue. Visit the site today and you can get the barbecue gospel from pitmasters of all walks of life. Now let's get to our pitmasters at the main event. And of course, excited to have the founder and the foreman of the Carolina BBQ Festival, none other than Sweet Lou, Lewis Donald. Welcome back to the Low and Slow Barbecue broadcast here live from the Carolina BBQ Festival.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for being here and taking time to do this.
Yeah, appreciate that. What I want to ask you about, here live at the festival, it's second year. How has the show gone so far in the run up to it, and now that you've got the big event rolling?
Well, now that the event's rolling, I can take 5 minutes and sit down, right? Because now we're up and running. Everybody's got their food, and people are coming in the gates, and we're just ready for them. Yeah,
so tell me, what's the best part of hosting a festival like this here in Charlotte?
I mean, the best part about it, it's twofold. Number one is it's driven, it's a charitable purpose, right? So we raise money to donate to other charities that are out there doing the work, right? I'm a restaurant guy, I'm a barbecue joint, so I'm not doing all that charitable boots on the ground work. Mm-hmm. And then number two, it's really to bring the focus of Carolina barbecue and Carolina pitmasters and what barbecue is to Charlotte. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I don't think there's another festival like this in Charlotte, but there are other places in the country.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel like sets this apart from maybe some of those other festivals around the country?
I'm obviously the setting. We're right here, super urban, right here at Camp North End, mm-hmm. which lends itself to layouts different. You're kind of in the middle of this 90-acre property with all these old buildings and a lot of questions, and super cool to walk around. Lots of shops are open here. They're open all day long during the festival. So it's just a lot of community engagement as well.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about that Barbecue for a Cause. Tell us about that and who the event's supporting.
So this year we're going with Heal Charlotte, who's right here in town. Piedmont Culinary Guild's right here in town. Southern Soul Firebox Initiative down in St. Simons, Georgia. They do great work with the food and beverage industry, whether it be mental health, medical bills, and we all know how this industry is, and it can be tough, right? So they support everybody down there. And then, of course, Operation Barbecue Relief and World Central Kitchen, which kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, tell me, what does it mean to you as a pit master and a barbecue guy to come in here and have an event like this and support not just the people around Charlotte and the community you live, but also your brothers and sisters working in that food service industry?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, barbecue is all about community. When I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, we had fish fries and spaghetti dinners. Down here, barbecue is what makes sense. So all the pitmasters that are here to barbecue for a cause. That's why they're here. And that's what barbecue community is. And that, again, is what we're trying to bring to Charlotte, is barbecue community, right? I go other places and partake in festivals and do the same in return, because we know that it's all about, charitable donations and helping other people, and that's what we're here to do, and we only know how to do it with food.
Yeah, that's great, and the food is great. Tell me a little bit about the Pitmasters. Kind of give me a heads up on who all's come to the second annual Carolina BBQ Festival, and what kind of environment was there. I know that as I kind of saw some of the stuff on Instagram, you guys were building the cinder block pits. I saw a lot of drums getting cut up, a lot of fire overnight. What was the environment like here overnight among this community of Pitmasters?
We've got a lot of seasoned Pitmasters. So we've got 3 guys cooking hog, Elliot Moss, Tank Jackson, and Michael Letchworth. We built a couple brick pits over there and had the burn barrels going, and they hung out all night cooking their hogs. And that's part of what we're trying to do, is continue that heritage of whole hog through this festival. So you'll always see whole hog components, and maybe more in the future. And then everybody else that kind of came in, we've got people from Virginia with County Smoke. John G's here, obviously, from Peachland. Ronald Simmons, Brandon Shepard from the coast. You've got Nate Monk from Lexington, 3rd generation pitmaster. And then, Lawrence Barbecue, Matthew Register. Just a bunch of different guys that do festivals, do them well, and put out great food.
Yeah, now I'm going to put you on the spot here as we're talking on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. What is your preferred barbecue sample? If you've got the best sample here at the festival today, what do you want on that plate?
It doesn't matter where I go, I'm looking for whole hog.
Right?
That's what I want.
You want it chopped? You want rib? You want it sliced? How do you want it?
I want it mixed up and chopped with sauce, a little bit of sauce, vinegar, hot sauce, a little bit of Eastern Carolina sweet slaw right on top, and I'm good to go.
Fantastic. On a bun or straight up?
Bun.
Is barbecue a verb or a noun?
You got me on this one last time.
That's right. I'm giving you a second swing at it.
Barbecue is a cooking method. It is not a dish.
There you go. I think that's the best answer we've had on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. That's a perfect way to end it, because, my friends, that is the lowdown from the Pitmaster himself, Lewis Donald, the founder and foreman here of the Carolina Barbecue Festival. Lewis, thanks so much for allowing us to come out here and be a part of this festival, and thank you for taking some time with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
And we really appreciate Lewis for sharing his time and helping us organize all these Pitmasters for the interviews. We couldn't have done it without him. Only problem is, now that I think about it, I never got to Sweet Lou's tent to eat any of that great barbecue hash and rice. Lewis, I'm coming to see you, and I'm following you on Instagram too, so I know when you'll have it all on special in Charlotte's Belmont neighborhood. You can follow Lewis Donald and Sweet Lou's Barbecue. He's on Instagram at Sweet Lou's BBQ. That's Lou as in Lews. Sweet Lou's BBQ. Follow him, or even better yet, visit him on Belmont Avenue in Charlotte. They're open every day but Monday. You can also find Lewis online at sweetlousbbq.com. That's where you'll find the Sweet Lou's store, find out about Lewis's Pitmasters class, or of course purchase some of Sweet Lou's merchandise. Up next, we got Garren Kirkman from John G's Barbecue in Peachland, North Carolina. He calls his operation a Texas tradition in a small North Carolina town. Garren served brisket during the Carolina Barbecue Festival at North End. It was a big old thick slice on a nice cut of bread with a pickle and a sauce. Whew, that had just the right kick. I'm here to tell you, it is as good, if not better, than anything that I've ever had in Dallas. And this man, I'll tell you what, he worked hard to get where he is. And we're here with Garren Kirkman, John G's Barbecue of Peachland, North Carolina. Garren, welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you here as part of this Carolina Barbecue Festival here. How's the event been for you so far?
Wide open.
Wide open?
Yeah.
What's everybody saying out there?
Oh, my goodness. Nothing but good things, man. Everybody's been super nice. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Super good event for the community.
Cool. So tell me, what's your specialty?
We brought brisket. Kind of our go-to. So that's what we showed up with.
Fantastic. So what is the secret to making a good barbecue brisket?
Oh, man. I think you get what you give. So you got to come in with just good meat. And then secondly, got to burn a good fire, and you got to know when it's done. Burn it, pull it too soon, no good. Pull it too late, and you got problems there too. But got to hit that window. You know exactly when it's done.
Well, tell me a little bit about running a barbecue restaurant. What's the secret to having a good barbecue restaurant?
Oh man, I mean, good food, but you know, you just gotta have a good brand, man. You gotta have people that believe in you, believe what you're doing. Just let them have fun when they come out, man. Just have an experience. Ultimately, believe in you. Yeah, just good food, man. Good times all around.
Well, tell me about that experience. What will somebody experience when they come to John G's Barbecue?
So we're in a little town of about 430 people, 40 minutes east of Charlotte, down Highway 74. So we're only open on Saturday. And on a typical Saturday, people might start getting there 6 a.m. in the morning. Door don't open to 11. And
so you got them lined up from 6 in the morning.
Knock on wood, yeah. that's
a sign of some good barbecue.
Yeah. So yeah, man, people just come out, have it, you know, have some adult beverages, sodas. Yeah. And just have a good time, man. Talk to each other. You know, you're not getting a little red beeper for when it's your turn. You know, talking to your neighbor. Just what it's about, man. Communion. Yeah. Just sharing good times. Waiting for your time.
Yeah, that sounds like, you know, kind of old-time traditional barbecue enjoyment in a barbecue joint. Well, tell me a little bit about your background. What's Garren's heritage of barbecue? How'd you come up in the low and slow world?
I grew up in North Carolina, 100%. But I did have a family reunion that was a pig picking style. Mm-hmm. So barbecue to me was always pig, chicken, fire department, fundraisers. But 2009, I had a bite of brisket, and I actually grew up working on beef farm. Mm-hmm. You know, raising beef cattle, Hereford, showing livestock fairs. I think something resonated when I took a bite of brisket. I always ate steak, hamburgers, you know, fresh from the farm. But you know, I ate the smoked brisket, and I was like, man, there's just something different about this. So I think I kind of pondered on it for about 2 years. You know, everybody's like, it's so hard to cook. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, bump it. We're just going to go buy a brisket, buy a cheap smoker, try this thing out. Yeah. Of course, it was not good.
It was cheap brisket on a cheap smoker.
No, exactly. I mean, it was exactly, you know, I had no idea what I was doing, didn't know what I was shooting for. I just wanted to make the smoker smoke. And at the end of the day, I was like, I think it's done. So I just pulled it off, sliced it up, didn't let it rest or anything. It was about exactly what you'd think it would have been. It kind of looked like bacon, honestly. Yeah.
Not good.
But we ate it. I mean, we thought it was cool. Yeah. You know? So, but after that, I just kept doing it. I had a whole slew of smokers, you know, from ugly drums, offsets. Always stayed true fire, never... I mean, I'm not knocking anything else, but I always kind of stayed in that realm. But I always kind of found the stick burner method was kind of my go-to. So 2016, we built a 500-gallon offset. Okay. Found a little private club, you know, found a way to basically put out food to the public on Saturdays. I had a Monday through Friday job, and we did that for about 2 years, and got a food truck 2018. Kind of took off a little bit more, had the commissary, kind of outgrew that, and 2020, February, we bought a restaurant to be a commissary for the food truck, unbeknownst that COVID would unroll. But it actually kind of worked out good, man, because everybody was in Charlotte. We had been running the food truck in Charlotte. Everybody was kind of stuck in Charlotte, just decided, hey, we're going to go to Peachland and eat barbecue outside. Yeah. Because we could. And, man, it has just been nonstop from there.
Yeah, so what inspires you to keep doing it day after day or Saturday after Saturday and all that other time that's required too?
Yeah, the love of cooking, but ultimately the people that allow us to do it, man. I mean, people show up and just have a ball doing it, man, and they love the food, and ultimately that's the reason we're doing it, man.
Yeah, well, so what does it mean to you to be invited to participate here in the Carolina Barbecue Festival?
Man, it means the world, dude. Just like I said, a chance to give back to the community and just see new faces. Man, it's either people are just here because they love us or they just have never heard of us. I mean, it's like we say Peachland, they say Pageland. And we're like, hey, nope, wrong town.
Yeah, there is a Pageland, but not Peachland.
Man. Yeah, and there's only one Peachland in all of America.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty wild. You'd think there's one in Georgia or something.
You'd think there'd be 10 in Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. But one Peachland, and so it's pretty easy to explain, but straight down 74, of course, from Charlotte. But, yeah, So that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, well, so a big part of this obviously is Barbecue for a Cause, and that's supporting some great charities
Yeah.
here. Heal Charlotte in that same community where you guys are operating, but also in another community, you're supporting your brothers and sisters in the
Exactly.
food industry. So,
Yes.
what does it mean to you to be part of that effort?
Man, that's one thing. I saw a quote. I can't remember who said it, but you don't have to hate somebody else's barbecue to like ours or love ours, and that's what it's all about, man. Like, we can't feed everybody.
Yeah.
And just to work along these guys side by side and support what we're doing, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't cook the same way. None of it's going to taste the same. And just to get together and do it side by side, man, that's it. Dude.
Yeah. So, what sets yours apart, though? You do a little bit different.
Oh man, just the touch. I mean, it's just, I think if you gave us the same ingredients, it's just going to come out differently.
Yeah.
Just the touch, the love that you put into it, it's just going to make it taste a little bit different.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're talking about being out here side by side with all these other great
Yeah.
pitmasters, 14 of them there serving it at 10 stations all
Yeah.
over the festival. But Garren's got his sample plate.
Yeah.
What is the perfect sample? What do you want on your sample plate here?
Oh man, I'm a little toss up. I mean, most people want the fatty brisket. I think the center cut, lean, perfect slice of brisket.
Yeah.
If somebody can knock out the perfect slice of lean brisket, that is just perfect. That to me is the perfect slice of brisket.
Okay, cool. So we're going to kind of wrap it up here, but
Yeah.
before we do, I want you to share with all of my home pitmasters out there. There's a lot of us hobbyists out here,
Yeah.
amateurs, so to speak. What's one thing that they need to know when they're out there working their smoker?
Oh man, like I said, I kind of go back to that. The whole brisket, man. Just getting it when it's done. So many guys they think a brisket's dry, and they think they've overcooked it, and it's usually not the case. They've usually undercooked a dry brisket.
Yeah.
That just seems to be the point that I just have to tell so many guys. Like, that thing probably needed like another hour, 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. So why does it need that?
To convert the fat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just got to keep cooking it, convert those fats. Then you'll start getting that juicy brisket.
Right on. So now we're going to hit it with the low and slow barbecue showdown. These are some quick hitters. Might explain a little bit along the way. So first of all, best Carolina barbecue style, Eastern or Western?
Oh man, good food. No, I'd probably lean a little bit towards the Eastern, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole hog, right? That's what you talk about. So
get those crispy bits in there.
Yeah, gas, pellets, or charcoal? Or hardwood?
Charcoal. I mean, man, I'm a hardwood guy.
Yeah, so if you're going wood, what kind of wood do you use?
White oak.
White oak specifically, or you don't mix it at all?
No, I like white oak. If I was gonna mix it, a little bit of pecan. I can't really taste on the flavor profile necessarily, but man, it just smells so good when you put a piece of pecan on there.
Yeah, for sure. Why do you like the white oak? What is it about that?
It's just a good subtle wood, and if a piece of red slips in there, it's fine. It's just got to be really good seasoned. It's got that kind of musty smell to it.
Yeah, of course. So the best state for barbecue?
Steak. Oh man, I'm a toss up between a good ribeye or
no. The state in these United States.
I was ready for steak.
Yeah.
Texas. Got to go Texas on that one.
Where this is the Carolina. I show you just a sticker. It's got North Carolina on it, and you're still going
I'm a
Texas.
brisket guy.
That's
man.
okay. That's
I'm
all
a
right.
brisket guy.
You're entitled to be wrong.
That's right.
Pork, beef, or chicken?
Come on.
He's a brisket guy. He's just said this 3 times. So beef. All right.
I'm already said steak too.
Sauce better with or without?
Without.
If you do have sauce, do you want it sweet or spicy?
Nothing. I'm just kidding.
That's a good
I guess a little sweet. I'm gonna go a little sweet. With pork, definitely a little sweet.
Yeah. Okay. So is barbecue a verb or a noun?
Oh, definitely a noun.
Definitely a noun. And that, my friends, is a lowdown from Pitmaster Garren Kirkman from John G's Barbecue in Peachland, North Carolina. Garren, I'm sorry. Thanks so much for joining the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Again, let me just say, Garren's Barbecue speaks volumes. You can connect with Garren and John G's Barbecue in Peachland. They're only open on Saturday from 11 until they sell out. But the good news is they cater. Check them out at John G's Barbecue. That's Jon John, JohnGSBarbecue.com. He's on Instagram too, and that's really where you want to try to follow him if you want to catch that food truck out on the town around the Charlotte region and beyond. Be careful. Look at all that barbecue porn on Instagram. You might find yourself getting hungry for some of John G's barbecue. Speaking of getting hungry, I think it's about time for a quick break and a few bites of barbecue. Stay tuned for more from the Low and Slow Barbecue Show at the Carolina BBQ Festival at Camp North End.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Welcome back to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. I'm Chigger Willard, and you can find me and pictures of all of today's guests. That's at the Low and Slow Barbecue Instagram page. Look for it at Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Next up, we've got Matthew Register from Garland, North Carolina. He's the pitmaster at Southern Smoke Barbecue, and he's gone from real estate agent to backyard barbecue to cookbook author and successful restaurateur. He's been featured on the Food Network, and he was kind enough to share his time with us for this episode of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. And here, the Low and Slow Barbecue Show at the Carolina BBQ Festival has an opportunity to speak with Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue in Garland, North Carolina. Matthew, welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Yeah, man, great to be here.
Yeah, well, tell me, what have you brought to the festival today?
Yeah, so we did a smoked shrimp ceviche, kind of a play on classic ceviche with a little bit of smoke in it.
Yeah.
So I guess it'd be a escabeche, if you say.
Right, okay.
I can't spell it, but I can say it. But yeah, so it was a little something different. We like to kind of push that edge and be a little different, and I knew, of course, like Michael's going to be cooking, whole hog, and,
right.
and Brian's bringing ribs, and of course Garren's, doing brisket, and Nate Monk's, so Jake Wood and he's making tacos and I'm making ceviche. So, something a little different.
Yeah, that's right. Give a little bit of a different flavor
absolutely.
to the festival folks out there. Well, tell me about Southern Smoke Barbecue. What do you feel like is your specialty there?
We specialize, in Eastern North Carolina barbecue. We're kind of known. We've been open, golly, almost 9.5 years now. We kind of got known for being that place that does, serve traditional Eastern North Carolina barbecue, but then everything else, there are no boundaries.
Okay.
So I like, pushing I like being vegetable forward. And I know that's weird to hear a barbecue guy say that, but we're going to have, tomato and saltine cracker salad and, lots of fresh vegetables and seasonal stuff in a literal barbecue joint. I mean, we have no inside seating. It's all outside. There's no frills, but you're going to walk in and have brisket, classic Texas-style brisket, and we make all our sausage just like they do in Texas, but you may get a side of French ratatouille, I mean, so that's kind of, we kind of push the envelope as much as we can, just like with the shrimp, we try to bring in seafood and those kind of things. So we're known for our barbecue and our ribs. I don't know. I'm still surprised when people line up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
9.5 years later, it's still pretty incredible in a town of 645 people in a caution light.
Wow. So you're bringing folks from not just in Garland, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's really funny. There's a guy here today that's from Charlotte, walked up in my line. I'm slicing sausage and he's like, "Hey, Garren sent me down here," and he had driven, from Charlotte to Garland.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible. I still don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm like, hey, there's a lot of good barbecue between Garland and, Charlotte, but it's very humbling. It's humbling when people will, get in their car and drive 3 hours to come eat a barbecue sandwich on a picnic table.
Right. Well, so what do you feel like is the secret to making good barbecue?
I think barbecue is like all food. I think it has to be cooked from a soulful place. I think if you're faking it, people can tell it. I think especially North Carolina, barbecue is so important to who we are.
Our culture.
I grew up Eastern North Carolina kid, eating, family reunions, church functions, that kind of stuff. I didn't come from that barbecue lineage. It was something that I actually started in my backyard, and I felt like it was something I needed to learn so I could pass it on to my 3 kids.
Yeah.
But I think barbecue is a very soulful thing. I truly do. It's just, and you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah. It sounds like, you're pushing the border out there. You're trying different things. You're experimenting. And that's a little bit about like what the backyard pitmaster is doing, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
absolutely.
folks out here that are highly trained and they're really good. And it sounds like maybe you come from a little bit different place than that. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I was in the real estate development business by trade. Got out of college, was going to be a golf pro, and then learned that I would have to work 100 hours and make $20,000 a year.
Right.
But I started it in my backyard, and I think that helps with what we do at our restaurant, because I didn't have those. I wasn't classically trained, and there weren't like, okay, there's a box that you have to fit into, and we just refused to do it. If I go somewhere like today, if I eat something that really inspires me, we're going to take it back to Garland and kind of recreate it and make it our own and put our own spin on it. But yeah, I grew up with my mom was a great cook. My grandmother was a great cook. I married into a family of upstate New York Italians.
Okay.
So you're going to see a lot of garlic
Yeah.
and those kind of things in our recipes. And we have a very heavy Latin population where we live. So, and my wife and I go to Mexico a lot. And so you're going to see a lot of those like ceviche and esquites and, really kind of bringing those flavors into our barbecue, because we have a vision of what barbecue is in Eastern North Carolina, but the guy grilling, corn off and fish in Playa del Carmen he's cooking barbecue too, and those flavors can transition over to, what we do in Garland, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think you can pull inspiration from anywhere if you just look. So.
Well, tell me about that journey from the backyard. How long were you fine tuning and smoking it up in the backyard before you took that leap to the restaurant world, and kind of what drove that?
Yeah. So, one thing that drove it was the health department, but John Shelton Reed.
Right.
I read his book at the beginning of this journey.
Great barbecue historian.
And in my
North
opinion,
Carolina
and John Shelton doesn't like for me to say this, but I say it everywhere. If John Shelton Reed doesn't write that book, Matt Register's not in the barbecue business.
Wow, okay.
That was when I was really starting to tinker, playing with a Weber kettle grill in my backyard.
Yep.
And wanted to know more. Wanted to, why do we cook it this way? Why is it important? And instead of just eating it. And really just got into it. And then Jessica's grandfather, my wife's grandfather, they were in the barbecue business in Sanford in the 40s and 50s.
Right.
And I really started digging deep, asking him questions, really kind of pushing the envelope, and then built a big reverse airflow. Jessica's uncle built the pit we call Jezebel, because she's ornery and you have to talk to her and get her to cook right. But then we started just cooking, and I started giving it away.
Yeah.
And people started calling me saying, "Hey, can you cook barbecue for us this weekend?" And so we started making sauces and bottled sauces, and all of a sudden people started calling a lot. And we decided just to set up a little roadside stand in Garland under a tent and just see if we could sell $5 barbecue sandwiches on the side of the road. And we sold them on a Friday, and on Tuesday, the health department called me and said, "We know you're catering. You either are going to stop or you're going to build a restaurant, or have somewhere." And so my family, we owned a little fish market that was run down in the town. And I said, well, hey, we'll just build a 16 by 20 kitchen on the back, and I can do something good in our town, open up 2 days a week. Hopefully I can sell like 50 barbecue sandwiches. Yeah. And I can cater once a month. And, now we, the first day we opened, we had about 75, 80 people in line. And I've done one real estate deal in the last 10 years. I never looked back. Yeah. And now we, like I was telling you guys, we have a separate catering business that we do like high end like weddings and stuff. And we're booking already into 2025.
Wow, so you got something good going on there.
Yeah, well, it's just a blessing. Yeah. I mean, it really is. And I tell people everywhere I go, without local support, we would be nothing. Because January and February, people are not driving from Charlotte to Garland when it's 32 degrees. Yeah. So we've kind of hung our hat on having that local stuff. And it's always really cool. But without those local people, Southern Smoke wouldn't be what it is.
Definitely. So obviously it sounds like you've got a lot of passion for what you do. I know, again, working and serving that many people, that frequently, it's got to be hard. Tell me what keeps you doing it day after day after day. Obviously y'all seen success and you're growing, but you got to get up every day and do it. So what drives you?
My kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard question. This is the first festival my kids have been able to be at with me, so it does kind of break me up a little bit because I want them to be proud, but I want them to also see that cooking is not just about monetary things. We're of course naturally not making any money today, but when people walk up and say, "Oh my God, this is amazing," that's worth almost more than money. Of course, naturally, this is a business, and I have to support my family. But I want my kids to be like, "Yeah, I'm proud of my dad." Yeah. He did something in a small town in eastern North Carolina, and he made it. I've always, that is one of my biggest things that drives me. Is what can I do to like really push what Southern Smoke's doing also to other people? Is there a kid in another town in eastern North Carolina that can look at what we're doing and say, hey, you know what, Matt Register did it. Like, why can't I, open up a blue jean company in a small town in eastern North Carolina and make it, and I truly, I love what I do. Like now, is it a grind? Yeah. Absolutely. Because, I mean, there's days, especially with weddings and stuff where you leave the restaurant on a Friday night from prepping at 8 or 9 o'clock. You get up at 4 and you work until midnight, and then you may be booked the next morning or the next day.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, it's a grind. But, it also gives me a freedom of, I like to express myself, and I think food, when done properly, you should be able to see and know whose food that is. And for example, Michael Letchworth is serving Skylight Inn, Sam Jones barbecue sandwich. I know exactly what that sandwich is going to taste like. And that's when barbecue really gets good. I know that's Brian Furman's ribs because I know the sauce, and that's cool. That's I mean, what other business? And we get to build fires and like cook. I get to wear a greasy T-shirt and shorts every day to work.
Yeah.
I mean, so
That's hard to beat. Well, so what's it mean to you to be invited to participate with all these other great pitmasters that you're talking about?
It's still unreal. It's surprising, when you look at. I'm a stall down from Nate Monk.
Yeah.
I mean,
generations of
third
Lexington
generation.
barbecue. Yeah.
You got guys. I mean, Brian, Skylight. Think about that. I'm just like I said, I don't come from barbecue lineage. I was the new kid on the block, and now we're cool. It's good in Eastern North Carolina because we got guys like Brandon Shepard and Jake Wood that are also, hey, let's push this envelope, And now I'm like the old guy with them, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not that old. Like I haven't been in the business, but right. I mean,
9
we're
years.
young. Yeah, we're young, barbecue wise, So it's just cool. Like it's just an honor. This is one of those that's special because we did the first year last year.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. It really is an honor.
Fantastic. So if you're out there among all these other pitmasters and you're out getting a tray of samples, what is the perfect sample? What do you want to have on your tray of samples?
Don't do that to me. Don't.
Well, it's all good. We know that. But what does Matthew Register want?
I'm gonna eat B's ribs because of the sauce. That peach mustard sauce is something. Brian and I've been friends with Brian since before Savannah. Like before the fire, the original fire. And I'll never forget going there and like the sauce, that sauce. But Jake Wood's birria tacos. I can't believe
those are good. That. Wow, they're fantastic. Yeah.
Jake just pushes the envelope, and they're so just ridiculously good. But I have been eating, a tray of barbecue from Nate Monk, and my 10-year-old has never had Lexington style, barbecue, and he's over there just. The red slaw, just
wearing it out.
Yeah,
you can't beat that dip.
Come on, man! Like you're an Eastern North Carolina kid. What are you doing here?
Well, we'll hit that in the low and slow showdown here in just a minute and see where that goes. Well, so sort of as a original backyard pitmaster to all of our audience of other backyard pitmasters out there, what is one thing they need to do besides call the health department before you get too big?
Yeah.
What's one tip for the backyard guys out there doing?
A couple of things. Instant read thermometer is the most important thing you can have as a backyard guy. And also time. If you think it's going to take 3 hours, let's plan on it taking 5.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than, we have a dinner party and guests are coming at 5. Well, I'm cooking a brisket. Well, guess what? That brisket is not done until 8.
Yeah.
Allow yourself a lot more time. And the biggest thing is, and you've got it sitting right there, get a notebook.
Yeah.
So I'm not an organized person, and everybody laughs at me because I am like 18 tabs open all the time. But when I started cooking, I got a memo book, like one of those black and white, books, and I wrote notes. And I was really grateful for that book, and I kept it when I was writing my book. Because I went from cooking on big pits, every day, and you kind of get this muscle memory. You learn. But I told from my book perspective, it was on Weber Kettle Grill. Well, that's what I started with.
Yeah.
So I really instant read, planning, and write stuff down.
Yeah.
Write stuff down. Write temperature down. Like, did it rain? I always joke, we have the best barbecue, and it's inside. Our pits are inside. Our best barbecue is when it rains all night. I don't know what it is.
The humidity in there inside
I've
that
joked
box.
that we're going to put a sprinkler system on our roof, so every night we'll have rain.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things. But those are like key things to me.
Yeah, and you take a note of it, and you remember it. And the next time you do it, you've got it right there. Oh yeah, I did it like this.
Yeah.
How can I make it better?
At 170, I had a brisket stall at 170.
Yeah.
And I didn't bump it the 350 or didn't get my pit high enough, to get it out of that stall quick enough. So
Cool. Good to know. All right, we're going to wrap it up here with Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue in Garland, North Carolina, with the Low and Slow Barbecue Showdown. It's some one-hitters, some quick hits
goodness.
here. Easy answers. It's
Okay.
all easy answers, Matthew. So the best Carolina barbecue style, Eastern or Western?
Oh, it's got to be East. You know what I mean?
Wait a
it's
minute. Your
East.
child's out here eating the Western style.
Nah, but it's East, and like it's no offense, I'm not one of those guys that like draws a line, but it's got to be East.
Why?
Just the vinegar, the way it cuts through it.
Okay.
There's just something about that, and it also is more of a personal thing. You know, memories, food memories.
yeah.
And that's just what I prefer.
Yeah, all good. Gas, pellets, or charcoal?
Wood,
Wood, what kind of wood?
oak wood.
Oak wood.
We
Why?
use red and white. That's all we've used. I like it because it's got a mellower flavor. We use some blackjack because it burns a little bit hotter. But yeah, I am a wood or either hard. You know, of course, naturally, I don't always smoke. Cooking steaks, it's got to be lump charcoal,
Yeah.
or either we use B&B charcoal for stuff like that.
Okay. Pork, beef, or chicken?
Pork because yeah, it's got to be pork.
Yeah. So the best state in these United States for barbecue?
North Carolina.
Absolutely, got to be.
I don't know. Texas is gaining on us. We got to get our game right.
Sounds like there's a lot of people over here mastering the brisket world and the sausage world.
Well,
that could
yeah.
be
I mean,
giving us that
we
leg
are
up on Texas.
We are. I mean, you know, and I think it's North Carolina barbecue is evolving, and it's a great thing for North Carolina barbecue as long as we don't forget about where we came from.
The heritage.
Yep.
So sauce, better with or without?
God, I'm trying to be Switzerland here. Sauce, but very light sauce.
Do you want it sweet or spicy?
Sweet. I'm not a huge, like, I don't want a hot sauce. I don't like
Yeah.
really hot things.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the last one. It's easy. Barbecue. Is it a verb or a noun?
This is such a hard question.
No, that's the easy question.
You know, I mean, I want to give like a really, you know what it is. I mean, barbecue is not cooking hamburgers and hot dogs on your grill.
Right.
It is not.
That's
it is
not.
a process.
It is a
Yeah,
process.
so
It's a process. And that, my friends, is the lowdown from Pitmaster Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue in Garland. Matthew, thanks so much for joining the Low and Slow Barbecue
thank
Show.
you so much.
Yeah, great. Find out more about Matthew Register and his business. Just visit southernsmokebbqnc.com. The restaurant is only open on Thursdays and Fridays. Doors open at 11:30 sharp. And like Matthew said, you want to get there early. If you want his ribs, you got to give them at least 24 hours notice. And of course, you can find Matthew and Southern Smoke on Instagram at Southern Smoke BBQ of NC. Special thanks to the Carolina Barbecue Festival, who helped coordinate our Pitmaster interviews and the Low and Slow Barbecue Show's participation. The whole team has a fantastic event out there, and you can find out more about the event at carolinabbqfest.org. Be on the lookout for details for the festival next year. Thanks as well to Lewis Donald from Sweet Lou's Barbecue and our guests, Garren Kirkman and Matthew Register. Thank you so much for sharing your time. You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Thank you to the Jackson Creative and Andrew Moose, who helped make the Low and Slow Barbecue Show Pitmaster series possible. Be sure to visit us online at lowandslowbbqshow.com. That's where you'll find the Low and Slow blog and other Low and Slow Barbecue Show episodes, including our tailgating experts and our food truck brisket master. Don't miss the episode with 3 Beers Down. We pair beer with barbecue. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll send the next episode of our Pitmaster series directly to your podcast screen. Thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. I'm Chigger Willard, reminding you that for the best barbecue and for the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.